Story 1. Update: Am I the a-hole for telling my ex his lack of money is not my issue? Original post: I, a 36 female, have a daughter, Sadie, 12, with my ex-husband, John, 39. We got divorced 5 years ago, and I have primary custody while he sees her 2 weekends a month. Last year he got married to Amanda, who has sole custody of her kids 10 and 8, female, from a previous marriage. Amanda is a stay-at-home mother, not for any health reasons or so on, she just doesn't want to work. While John works at a 9 to 5, he makes good money to support them, but not enough to live in luxury. I have a much higher paying job since it's just me and Sadie. I make sure that she has the best possible life. She goes to a private school, I set up our college fund, and she has much better things than most kids: phone, clothes, etc. I still manage to raise her to be humble and not take things for granted, and she's one of the hardest working people I know, always making sure to get good grades and keep her room tidy. Well, the last few times that she came back after a weekend at John's, I noticed that the clothes she was bringing back in her duffel bag are not her size and so forth, much cheaper and poorer quality than what I usually buy for her. I asked her why that is, and she told me that while she's at her dad's, Amanda takes away her nice clothes and gives them to her kids while Sadie gets the clothes they buy from Target. I asked her if she wanted them back, but she said that she didn't mind sharing since all of her favorite clothes are kept here. The problem: when I went to pick her up last weekend, I had a business meeting and couldn't drive her over, so Amanda offered to pick up Sadie from school, which hadn't happened before. When I got there on Sunday, John and Amanda asked me to sit down with them, and when Sadie came in to hug me, Amanda sent her to her room quite harshly, saying her punishment wasn't over yet. I was confused because Sadie rarely misbehaves. They sat me down in the kitchen and said that it was unfair for Sadie to be going to private school while her kids go to a public one. So they've decided that Sadie should be pulled out of a private school and put in the same school as the girls. They also said that I should keep up at Sadie's punishment because when they told her, she blew up at them, told them it wasn't fair, and yelled that Amanda and her kids weren't even her real family and that all they did was steal. I told them in no uncertain terms to F off. I would not be pulling my child out of a school she likes away from her friends because they can't afford it. I told them that they could easily make as much money as me if Amanda started working in her field because she has the qualifications and the job market is very good. I told them their money problems are not my issue, and if Sadie's items get stolen again or they try to pull her out of school, I'll be taking this to court. They've been blowing up my phone ever since, calling me a selfish a-hole, and after telling the story to a friend, he told me I was rubbing my success in their face, but I still don't feel like I did anything wrong. Still, am I the a-hole? And now for the comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole, and I would make the school aware that any decisions about your daughter need to go through you so he doesn't just do it behind your back. Op says, first thing that I did after dropping Sadie off at school. My kids not losing a good opportunity because of them. And then this person says, her father is weak and all around pretty terrible for trying to take away these opportunities from your daughter. I say yours because he is hardly acting like she is his at the moment. I'd be having a good talk with your daughter about any other toxic ways she is being treated at their house. Get the courts involved regardless for stealing and trying to alienate your daughter. In the meantime, Op and daughter can make a game out of this. Take daughter thrift shopping for dad's weekend clothes, things that are okay but not stepmom jealous fancy. Clothes that daughter likes and fit, but stepmom is not likely to steal. I mean, they could, but the point is that that shouldn't have to happen. A child shouldn't have to get a second set of clothing for fear of the others getting stolen. To go to what should be their other home, another haven and safe place. That shouldn't happen anywhere you are sending your child expecting them and their belongings to be respected. Imagine they go to school and others stole their clothes, or a friend kept wanting to swap clothes because theirs were better. A parent would soon do whatever they could to put a stop to that. This is no different, in fact it's worse, as her father should be protecting her. Op is not the a whole, and I'm not a lawyer, but generally the rule is supposed to be that the child's standard of living should be at least as good as it was with both parents living together. So I think it's pretty unlikely a judge is going to approve downgrading the child's standard of living, especially when the other parent isn't being forced to pay for it. I'd suggest court and also to not send the daughter with whatever clothes her step-siblings wanted or would sell well on consignment in the meantime. Now for the updates. First update, I got temporary guardianship while waiting for a court hearing. We're going to try to get full custody and have John get 1 day a week of visitation, supervised for at least the first few months, and no contact with Amanda or her kids. This way he still sees Sadie as much, and they try to repair their relationship, but she doesn't have to go back there. All contact between us is made through emails which are CC'd by my lawyer, and I've asked for Sadie's things back. I've talked to Sadie, and we've decided that she's going to try therapy for a little while to help deal with everything that's happened. Second update. We've had the hearing and our custody arrangements been modified. Any and all decisions relating to Sadie are made by me and me alone. John has supervised visitation once a week, and Sadie will continue in therapy to deal with all the issues Amanda and company have caused her. They tried to push for a 50-50 custody split on grounds of her alienation, so me trying to put Sadie against her father, but we made it clear from the start that we wanted to keep Amanda and her children away and wanted supervision only because we don't feel safe leaving him alone as of yet, but that we were open to modifications. Thanks to that, the proof of stealing and Sadie's therapist's testimony, their claim was thrown out pretty quickly. Amanda is pissed and has tried to contact me and Sadie, but I made it clear to her that if she keeps harassing me or my daughter, I'll have to make this known to the authorities. Sadie and I have blocked her everywhere, and any communication between John and us is made through text messages or emails only. I'd like to thank all of you for your support throughout all of this. It really means a lot to us, sending you loads of love. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother that I will not invite my cousin to my birthday because of her habit? Plus update. Original post. My 23 female mother, 51 female, is berating me for not wanting to invite my cousin, 24 female, to my birthday party. The thing is, my cousin and her boyfriend have this habit, kink really, and they do not stop sneaking off to have sex, sometimes semi-publicly, sometimes in public. I was invited to her birthday 6 months ago. It was at a restaurant, and they brought in the cake. They were nowhere to be found. My uncle, Mom's brother, and her father sent me to look for her, and I found them having sex in his car in the middle of the parking lot, and she saw me and smiled and waved, laughing with her boyfriend. This was not the first time something like this happened, as I later found out that my uncle sent me because he didn't want to catch his daughter in the act. Again, and her friends already knew of this habit, so they refused to engage in their fantasies of being caught. I took my things and left, and my mother scolded me because she said my cousin was upset and embarrassed that I just left with a disgusted face, and that her friends backed me up, some left too. I told my mom what happened, and she told me that I should have endured to not cause a scene, but I told her that I'm a grown woman, and I could have left even without a reason. Now my birthday is in a week. Reasoned. Now my birthday is in a week, and I made plans for a weekend out in my grandmother's beach house, and she has given me permission to use it and bring my friends. I sent out the invitations, and when my cousin found out because my uncle told her, having heard it from my mom, she was confused as to why she didn't receive one. Told her I love her, but I didn't want her there because my friends are bringing their boyfriends too, as am I, and I don't want them to have to endure her and her boyfriend's kink, because it will make us uncomfortable. I told her it is one thing to have sex, and it is another to engage other people in their sex life without their consent. She was furious, saying that I was excluding her and that she would do it on my birthday. But I laughed and told her that she did it on her own birthday, so I didn't believe it, and I would rather not risk her ruining my party, so she went complaining to my mom about it. And she tried to force me, and since I live on my own and pay my own bills, she couldn't, so she went to my grandmother to try and convince her to not let me use the house. But I'd already told my nana everything, and she dismissed her, so now my mom, my aunt, and my cousin are all bothering me about it. I think I have a right to invite whoever I want, but maybe I was too harsh. Me and my cousin were really close friends, but these past months I've been pulling away from her and I feel a little bad. So, am I the a-hole? English is not my first language, so I may have explained some things a little weirdly. Now for the comments. I'm all for healthy sex life, but the minute you need to shock other people with it, I draw the line. It's beyond inappropriate to have sex in the middle of a party in such a way that you want other people to catch you. This kind of kink infringes on other people's rights, and I think you had every reason to leave her off your guest list and tell her why. Maybe suggest your mom host your cousin and boyfriend that weekend so she can play this little weird game. I'm just astonished that everyone is trying to pressure you to invite these people knowing their history, not they whole. Oops, she's telling me that she's promised not to do it or just not bring her boyfriend, but I know my cousin. She is very bold and impulsive, and her relationship is relatively new, so she might have tried to flirt or hook up with one of my friend's boyfriends because she has cheated before on her long-term boyfriend, which I know is unfair, and she might not do it. But I do not want any drama on my birthday, and it makes me feel a little selfish. Now for the update. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank everyone who has wished me a happy early birthday. I really appreciate it. And there are some things that I want to clarify. For some reason, some of the people who commented seem to believe my mother is invited to the party. She's not. We will have our own mother-daughter day afterwards. Some people also had a problem with my nana having a beach house, like weird thing to focus on, but okay. Some people were really rude about the way that I handled everything, or to my mother, which I really didn't appreciate. But I've been told that that's Reddit for you, so I guess I should have known when posting here. It's a little bit of a disappointing update, but well, I showed my mother my post and she was appalled. I had to translate everything for her. She wasn't all too happy that I decided to share a family matter with internet strangers, but when I told her that my cousin was sharing something much more private to the public, she dropped the issue. She apologized for trying to pressure me into inviting her. Like I said in the comment, she only knew that I caught her one time, but there was some miscommunication because she had thought that I just caught her in the bathroom of the restaurant, not the parking lot, which is still bad, but like at least there's doors. I told her over the phone, and she's a little hard of hearing, so I believe her. She called my uncle, her brother, cousin's father, and tore him a new one after she learned that he sent me to find cousin knowing what I would find, and for not saying anything when she and his wife were bothering me, knowing the reason why his daughter is not invited. My cousin has blocked me on everything, and I don't really care because it's weird, because what did I do? Oh, and it turns out that my aunt did know what her daughter is up to. She just thinks that it's her private issues, which is kind of ironic because, well, me and my mother have decided to leave it for now as it is, and we've gone low contact with them. She's really weirded out. That's all for now. Thank you for all the kind and helpful comments, editors. Note again, please remember the no brigading rule. Do not DM oop or comment on their posts. This is becoming a serious problem on the sub, and we don't want to get banned. Story 3. I have just been betrayed by the two people I trusted most, and I don't know what to feel anymore. Plus update. Original post. I'm sorry if this is annoying. I can't stop thinking about it, and for some reason I feel more secure venting it to strangers than the people who know me and can judge me more in depth. I won't lie, I've been suspecting my fiancé has been having an affair, but I didn't have any solid evidence to accuse him. Even then, I had a feeling that I didn't want to dig any deeper because I was scared in case what I was suspecting was true. 12 days ago, I came home from visiting my mom's and headed upstairs to wake my fiancé, as he has a habit of sleeping in way past 2 p.m. I then complained that I didn't wake him. I open the door and all I see is my practically naked sister rushing to try to get out of a lingerie bodysuit that belonged to me. I don't know how to explain it, but my mind just went blank, like whatever I was thinking about beforehand suddenly disappeared. You know when you stand up too fast and your head just gets a little dizzy? That's what I felt alongside the feeling of sickness brewing in my stomach. I stood there for a solid 30 seconds looking at the two people I trusted most, looked more shocked than I felt. My fiancé jumped out of bed and suddenly came up with excuses that went from, it was an accident, to, I was lonely and needed sexual relief. I probably should add my best friend Kaylee herself 2 weeks ago. The girl I knew for over 15 years was suddenly out of my life, and even though I'm surrounded by people, I've told my fiancé about how alone, devastated and guilty that I couldn't have done anything to help her. I just left and I didn't take my car because at that point my eyes were just about starting flooding. I walked to my friend's 10 minutes and confided in her about what happened. The amount of grief I felt from not only losing a best friend, but losing my relationships with my fiancé and sister within the same 2-week period. Now that I'm sitting down to write this, I don't know if any of these relationships will ever be mended, or if it could ever go back to the way they were before. I don't understand why my sister, of all people, would do this. There was never any favoritism toward any of us for her to feel spite. I have never intentionally tried to hurt her. I gave her shelter when she had no place to go, and despite her not paying a single penny, I bought her food that she liked, made sacrifices in my own home for her. She kept ranting about how her living room walls gave her a headache. They were white, so it took the time out of my day to paint it a nice gray color. My fiancé too, I gave that man everything. I was willing to have kids with him despite the fact I always wanted to be child-free. I was going to start a family so that he was happy. I gave him comfort whenever something bad happened to him. I spent hours watching unfunny movies that he seemed to find hilarious. I even gave him an effing locket with our anniversary photo in that he decided to wear while sticking it in with my sister. These last days I went from sadness to being angry, then disgusted. It's a constant cycle of not being able to get out of. Despite being smoking-free for 2 years, I've picked up a cigarette. I used to be heavily addicted to smoking from 16 to 21. I'm currently 23. There's the moments when I do something but automatically lose interest, and even times over dinner. I don't know how to explain it properly as I've never felt this way, but I'm bored of eating. I have to physically force myself to eat something, and I have no idea what's going on to my body at this very moment. For some reason it feels like I've went into hibernation. I sleep almost 17 hours a day now, and even for the rest of those hours I'm still tired and force myself to stay awake. Both of them asked to meet up on Wednesday. My sister's exact message was, "Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear from me right now, but can you meet me and fiancé? We want to talk and we want you to properly hear us out. The situation you found us in was not the most ideal situation to put you in a good headspace to talk about right there and then. Please let us explain. I love you and you're my sister and I don't want to lose you. Please, I think it's too late. It's too late from whenever this affair started, or even when you started getting sexual desires for my fiancé. I miss my sister, but according to what I saw, the sister I miss and whoever my sister is now are not the same person. I haven't talked to anyone yet except the one friend and currently staying with at the moment. I'm scared I'll be seen as a failure of a future wife. But now I don't even think I want to be a wife anymore, but I guess I'd rather share to strangers than people who know me personally. I apologize again. Hi, me again. I'm back and editing the post. At first I was just going to dump this vent to get it out of my mind, but I want to say thank you for everyone's advice. I guess this counts as a small update. I'm unsure. So far nothing big has really happened. The friend I'm staying with has offered to come with me to go talk to my parents about this, also including my older brother. She honestly has been my rock through this whole situation, and I couldn't ask for a better support system from one person. Though I don't plan on putting that on her shoulders since it would be stressful to be the designated support system friend. I'm currently looking into therapy for my grief and the affair. I'm not well versed legal-wise, so I'm currently in the process of looking for a lawyer just so legally I know I'm in the clear in case there would be a loophole somewhere. I did contact my sister, and in another copy-pasted message I replied, "I don't plan on meeting with you on Wednesday. I'll talk to you when I'm ready, and whether it be tomorrow or years from now, it doesn't matter. You both owe me my own time to heal after the two people I've trusted most went behind my back, betrayed my trust, all under my roof that you both live rent-free under. Bye. I can't lie, I was almost ready to tell her to meet me there, and then when she sent that message, but I realized, and through the help of people in the comments that I can't thank enough, I need time to work on myself mentally rather than repair a long-gone relationship with my sister. No, I don't plan on going back to my ex and never will. Maybe one day I'll hear him out, but today is not that day. As for now, I'm getting ready to try and explain to my parents everything that happened. I don't have any evidence between my ex and sister, however I do have their messages they sent me which traps one another. I think that's the right wording, but anyway, thank you all for the advice and kind comments and messages. Have a good day or night. Now for the update. Update. Hi Reddit, me again. I honestly forgot about this account until the friend that I was staying with, I'll just name her Alice, sent me a TikTok where one of those AI voices reads a Reddit post, and you'd never guess whose post it was reading. Mine lol. I wanted to log back on as I wanted to thank the people who showed me more kindness than people I was supposed to trust, and also the people who seemed interested in my life. Can't blame them when I read something that has some drama. I do also become invested. I'll start with myself. I got myself into therapy and began taking care of myself and myself only. Entering my relationship with my ex, I hadn't noticed how much time I spent taking care of him and neglecting myself and my needs. It was one of those relationships that you didn't notice the faults until you left and became sort of a specter of what the relationship actually was. I think part of me was so invested in believing he was a good guy because how past relationships had hurt me before that I tried very hard to hold on to the idea that I finally found someone who was different. Loving the wrong person can lead to devastating consequences, and I just happened to be doing that exact thing. Whenever I had seen stories about people staying with their cheating partner, I was so quick to criticize how stupid that would be and thought, what do you expect when they cheat again and again? And now that I've been through that, it was eye-opening. It's not just up and leave behind someone you invested so much love, time, and effort into. Yes, you can lose all love for that person in seconds, but you never lose the feeling of the love that you felt before, if that makes any sense. After I found out, I did want to try and work it out for many reasons, but through the help of my therapist, she helped me realize that I wanted to stay because after my best friend's death, he was the only thing that I felt familiar with at the moment. Everyone is growing up and moving away in my life. I was in a position where I felt so alone, but to expect people not to change is not to allow growth. They moved out of my house and I moved back in. I won't lie, it was lonely. I was so used to other voices in my home that it felt empty. But an empty room is open to hundreds of ideas and my opinion. I redecorated with the help of friends and some family, and even though I have lost 2 people thanks to them, I was able to make memories that I'll cherish. I won't try and cover up that before I got therapy I was indeed a wreck. I was just so tired of disappointment from my ex that the cheating was the final blow that knocked me back into reality. My sister's betrayal hurt way worse because we shared the same parents. We used to share bunk beds and without my knowledge shared the same partner. But I owe them a thanks for allowing me to remove people who clearly had no good intentions. I will always love my sister even though I don't want to, but sometimes there are strings attached to people that just can't be cut, and she is one of them. I'll never welcome her into my home again, but I'll answer the phone if she is at her lowest. Even though she was a snake in my garden, doesn't mean she's not my sister. She did try to call a couple weeks after she moved out, and at first I was angry at her. I honestly just wanted to hit her with everything that I had, but when I answered and heard her voice, I just felt sorry for her. Everyone in my family knew how terrible she was, and just for some pleasure, she ruined the last relationship that was trying to help her. I just think that she is a very self-destructive person that will never learn. They were constantly staying at different friends' houses because they couldn't afford to rent anywhere. My sister is apparently cheating on my ex with random people, and none of them are able to hold down a job. I would say karma, but it's just sad. My ex traded someone who became a pushover for him. It gave him everything she could for someone who couldn't give it SHT about him. I wish them well. I deserve better than that, and I just hope one day they grow up and begin to become better people than who they are right now. My family no longer talks to my sister, so she's on her own. Some things I hear about her reminds me of just a confused child. However, I did see her on New Year's Eve. Me and some friends were clubbing because why not, and we unintentionally ran into her. At first I tried to ignore her and just pretend I didn't see her, but she ended up coming up to me and tried to talk to me as if nothing happened. As the ex-partner I wanted to slap her, but as her sister I wanted to hug her and ask her why, but I just left. After we remove labels of sister, her partner's ex or whatever, we share the same DNA, and that will always be the thing that connects us. As for my dating life, I'm currently seeing someone and have been so since November of 23. I deserve happiness and I deserve a lot more than what my ex gave me. However, I'm still dealing with issues from that relationship that has me in moments of guilt and not giving my full trust. I'm happy that he understands and listens to me when I have concerns, but I don't want to constantly live with issues I carry because of someone else. We're taking it slow, and he always reassures me he's a good guy, and I'm happy he's in my life. I will find my peace with the situation eventually, but I'll have to work to get to that point, and that's okay. Sorry for the whole ramble, but this is still sort of event post. I have a lot of mixed emotions that I haven't been able to untangle. Thank you to everyone who listened, reached out, and gave advice. I appreciate that so much, and I hope everyone had a good new year.